Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Ryan Upchurch. If you don't know me, I'm a musician for a living. Been a musician for about 15 years, about 9 years professionally. Also, obviously, been a YouTuber for a while. Have a lot of different hobbies, which you can see on my social media pages. I like making UTV vlogs. I like painting. I like drawing, building stuff out of clay. You name it. I got 1,000 hobbies. But last year I come up on a new hobby, and that was watching this true crime shit that's on YouTube. And around that same time was when this missing person, Kylie Rodni, started popping up all over the internet. I never even knew about this section that was called true crime. I never knew of these true crime YouTubers. And at the time I was like, well shit, I got 3 million subscribers. I can try to help find somebody. I have a lot of people all over the world that, got eyeballs that can look around. So I start clicking and watching these videos that people were talking about this Kylie Rodni girl and, where she was missing from and, all the logistics. And I started noticing there was some weird shit about some of these, in particular, true crime YouTubers. Now, before we go any further or get into this, let me give you some context by showing you a news clip from CBS Sacramento that's talking about this exact situation.
It's been 1 year since Kylie Rodni disappeared from a party at the Prosser family campground. The disappearance of the Truckee teen got the attention of people all across the country as thousands of tips poured into Placer County's tip line. Kylie was last seen at a high school party at that campground.
By the way, she didn't go to high school, apparently. She was homeschooled.
At the time, Placer County officials said her Honda CR-V was missing and her cell phone was out of service.
By the way, there is absolutely no evidence that proves they found a cell phone. But apparently she was texting all of her friends that were also at this party.
Initially, the case was considered suspicious, even being investigated as a possible abduction.
If you're a teenager going to a party where there's drinking and hanging out and people have curfews, the first thing you're going to think is, okay, they're out with a boy or they're spending the night at a friend's house or they ain't trying to get in trouble and they're high. Why they said abduction off the rip, I have no idea. Not unless somebody called and was like, hey, I think I just seen an abduction.
But 2 weeks later, and nearly 20,000 man-hours of searching in, Kylie's car was found in Prosser Lake. It was found by Adventures with Purpose, a YouTube-famous dive team. They said it was about 14 feet down, close to where Kylie was last seen.
Then I hear that, and I'm just like, I don't get it. 20,000 man-hours in looking where this person went missing, and you can't find her around a 23,903 foot perimeter around a reservoir, especially when the town law enforcement is getting on TV holding a press conference telling you they had divers and sonars and they dragged the lake and all this shit, and then some YouTubers show up and find it in 14 minutes. Come on, son.
And then in October, the coroner's office ruled Kylie's death accidental.
Ruled as accidental, but she was found in the water in the very, very back of a CRV with some of the windows down. Come on, son.
The Nevada County Sheriff's Office said the 16-year-old died from drowning.
But here's the thing. If you look up the autopsy report, it doesn't show any water in the lungs. How did she drown if there's no water in there?
Officials said there was no indication of foul play.
All right, now that you're up to speed on what I'm talking about, and you just heard from CBS News, allegedly, what happened? And I know you can hear that it really doesn't make any sense. All right, so let's briefly recap that simple situation that apparently has happened. You have a girl that went to a party in a CRV. There's no pictures of this girl hardly on the internet. There's definitely absolutely no fucking videos. There's one video that is allegedly supposed to be her. It's a little girl playing a violin or something 15 years ago, very shitty quality. So she's 16, 17 when she went missing. This video is from her being 4 or 5 years old. So I don't know if it's her or not, and no one does. There's no pictures of her beside a CRV. There's no videos of her and her friends. There's no pictures or videos of her at this party. There's no evidence of a phone. And 20,000 man hours couldn't find her directly beside where she went missing, and some YouTubers pull up and they're like, look guys, found her really fast. I don't care who you are. If you have common sense and know anything about anything, you know that sounds like bullshit. It just does. The question is why? So anyway, I get on YouTube after I just come across this section of YouTube. It's all about true crime, whatever true crime is. I'm still not sure what that means. And I run across this guy named Icked Mel. He's a true crime YouTuber. Well, he's interviewing this guy named Ronnie on the phone, who's explaining the party. And it sounds like, at first, it sounds like he was there. And then he's like, no, it was my cousins were there. They seen the party. They seen that girl. They said she was super fucking intoxicated and just wasn't even there. And there was some adults there and yada, 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 yada. I'm just like, what the hell?
And there was a bunch of kids there. Like, there was a bunch of kids from school there, but, like, it was mixed with older adults who had the drugs. And my cousins were one of the older group that had the stuff. And my cousins are 25 and 26 years old.
So then as I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, this Ronnie guy who's calling this true crime YouTuber Ickmel is being like, hey, yeah, my cousins were there. They're adults. They brought drugs there to the party of a fuck ton of kids. Bruh. So I'm like, well, that was fucking weird. This random guy just called and was like, yeah, I seen the whole thing. So I start scrolling and I'm like, okay, well, I see this little thing where her alleged friends, really, really close friends, threw this thing for her at the place she went missing. And her friends that were at the party are talking about the party to the news. This is what the alleged best friend of Kylie says.
I had told her, like, I'm leaving. I already have another ride because I didn't want to drive home with her. And so I had told her that, but she still ended up calling me at 12:36 asking if I needed a ride, and she sounded just really drunk, I guess. It grew to be way, way larger than ever expected. There was a lot of guys that did approach us.
Okay, so do you hear that? So you mean to tell me this missing teen, Kylie Rodni, her best friend, Sammy Smith, the girl you just seen, and the random caller on the Ickmel dude's channel who does the true crime shit, they both have the same story. Keep in mind, this is before she was found. And at this time, I didn't really think anything about the Ickmel dude. I was just like, yo, that guy that called you, that was kind of weird how he knew all this shit. The same shit that the Sammy girl knew. How's that possible? He's a grown-ass man. That's a little girl. What the fuck's up with this? So one day, I called it out. I was like, yo, what's up with the Ronnie guy, bruh? Next thing I know, the Ickmel dude is mad at me. The Ronnie dude is mad at me. And they're both on that true crime channel that Ickmel owns, doing this very weird interview where dude pixelated the entire background so you couldn't see anything. And they're on there and they're like, what's wrong with that Upchurch guy? Is he on drugs? I mean, is he an idiot? Is he stupid? He must be. And I'm like, what? What the fuck are you talking about?
A chance to get heat off of me. So I put his name in the bio.
And it worked.
Because Ryan was already fishy of him, and I'm not going to say it because he's going to get pissed because if I start talking shit to him, he went ahead and was like, oh, look, it's a conspiracy. I was like, bro, you really are dumb. Like, you really are dumb, dude. I'm sorry. Like, I'm
I think
sorry.
there's something wrong with him.
And when I seen this clip, I noticed he said, hey, this is a chance to get heat off me.
It's a chance to get heat off of me.
And I was like, And when this is going on, this is when the Ickmel guy started trying to paint the narrative. You know, he started calling me Alex Jones and saying, something's wrong with him. Oh, man, what's wrong with him?
I think there's something wrong with him.
So at that point, I'm like, something is wrong with me because I asked a legitimate question about the guy that called your true crime YouTube, being like, hey, bro, I seen everything. I'm not accepting that, no. About this same time, another random true crime YouTuber named Zanime pops up out of nowhere. And listen, when I say pops up out of nowhere, I mean she didn't really have a YouTube channel at all. She had like 2 videos about Ukraine and weapons.
There were some munitions were spotted or deployed in Ukraine. Airdrop or ground-launched explosive weapon that releases or ejects smaller submunitions. Commonly, this is a cluster bomb that ejects explosive bomblets that are designed to kill personnel and destroy vehicles. Other cluster munitions are designed to destroy runaways or electric power transmission lines, disperse chemical or biological weapons.
I'm sitting there thinking to myself, looking at this lady's page, and I'm like, how do you go from Ukraine and weapons to true crime within like 3 videos? Keep in mind, the Kylie Rodni girl's car is not found at this point. Everyone's still looking for it. So I see her on some true crime panels and stuff, talking about the Kylie Rodni girl. So I click on her page. When I click on it, what do I see? This lady is in Prosser Reservoir, where the little girl went missing, where the car is still at this time. And she is paddling and swimming and looking around the whole campground where the little girl went missing.
It's a steep hill. Okay. And we are here.
1, what are you doing there? 2, did you hear her go, we're here?
We are here.
And the little tag in the corner that said campground. What, you weren't there when you pulled up? But you had to pull up, put your canoe in, and paddle all the way over there to somewhere where you could drive to if you wanted to. And then you're like, yep, we're here, as you pull out your phone and show that that's exactly where the car went in the water. So then I comment on one of her videos, and I'm like, hey, kind of weird that you're there. What are you doing over there? And she's like, fuck you, I hate you. What's wrong with you? Everyone's worried about you. All your fans are worried about you. Are you on drugs? And I'm like, why are you saying the same thing that Ikmel and Ronnie said, bro? So she keeps telling me over and over. She's like, your community is worried about you. Finally, I was just like, shut up.
Now, I'll
Your community.
shut
took
up,
it a little
lady.
bit
Play the
further.
video.
Okay,
He's
okay,
playing the
let's
video.
let's play the video. Let's
Shut
get the
up.
video.
So then here's where she starts her discrediting process. She's like, oh, well, he said this and this. And I'm like, I didn't say any of those things. Prove it. And she couldn't.
I got no problems with calling Ryan Upchurch out on it, but he's saying he didn't say it. You can't accuse somebody of saying something they didn't say.
You want proof?
Well,
Hold on.
Why are you so
Okay.
scared? You want proof? Hold on. Why are you so defensive?
All right, what do you
Because I'm
have?
pressing your ass. Ronnie seen somebody at the fucking party. You seen the party. The little girl went missing around the fucking party. Are you all stupid as fuck or something? Do y'all not understand? Even the people in chat know.
All right, so now let's put the timeline together. Do you realize now that means? So now you got this Ronnie guy who's calling into Ikmel's true crime show. He's like, my cousins were there and seen everything. You got Sammy, who is the little girl's best friend, who was like, I was there and then left. But I'm the last person Kylie talked to. Now you got the Zanime chick, who is like, yeah, I seen the party and was there. And the next day, canoeing there. They're all in some way, shape, or form at this party this little girl went missing at that apparently nobody seen. And not to mention, they all take up for each other when they apparently don't know each other at all.
And I appreciate that lady. I think her name's like Zanime or something.
Zanime.
Like she was defending me.
So I'm like, bruh, all these people are capping. Why are they all have the same story? Why are they all lying? And why just so happens the weekend this little girl went missing, everybody's eyeballs is broke. So I'm like, okay, you got 300 kids at this party. Ain't nobody said shit. Just 4 dumbass adults on here being like, I seen the kid party. So I'm like, dude, I got a good way to tell if this is bullshit or not. If a kid knows something about something that he didn't do, if a kid seen anything happen at this party, I'm going to offer him $100,000 in a Hellcat. Then we'll see who really was at the party. What kid's going to say no to $100,000 in a fucking, the rapper car? So, I put the offer out there. This is what happened. So, right before she was found, you know, where everybody's like, oh my God, where's she at? This, that, and the other. And, you know, everybody who's kind of sleuthing and talking about it on the true crime, they're all going at each other's throats and being like, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. What are you doing to help? And I see everybody like arguing with each other. So I figured, okay, she went missing at a party full of teenagers. Someone's got to know something. So I offered $100,000 and my $100,000 Hellcat to whoever had tips leading directly to her, or to anyone who just flat out found her. So you got this little girl missing. No one can find her. No teenager knows where she went. Nothing. And then all of a sudden, I put out a reward that is bigger than any reward that's out for her. Why? Because my heart's like this big around. In my head, I'm thinking, well, shit. I'm lucky enough to have a job I like. I'm rich. I could spare $200,000, see if anybody can find her. She's found in the next few days by Adventures with Purpose. When I seen the news that she was found, I was like, damn, all right. Look, I got cold chills even thinking about it. I was like, well, I'm going to hold up my end of the deal. I'm a man of my word. So I had my accountant at the time send $100,000 to Jerry Lasik, and I gave Doug the Hellcat and had the Hellcat delivered by my security guard, drove it all the way to his house, dropped it off, flew back home. So after she's found, then what happens? Jared Lasik all over the internet. Everybody's like, oh, he's a weirdo. He did some weird sexual shit. And I'm like, what? I see it on the internet. I haven't looked into it, but I see it. And at first I was like, hell, who knows? It could be just somebody who doesn't like him. Until I seen all of AWP get online and quit AWP. So right before everybody in AWP got on the internet and was like, hey, we quit AWP, somebody came to my house. I'm not going to say who. And he was like, it's somebody very close to the whole finding of this car and whatnot. They come to me and they were like, I'm scared. I was like, why? And he was like, this involves like higher up people. I was like, who? He gave me a few names. And I was like, even I was kind of like, this motherfucker's crazy. And then about a week after, everybody quit AWP. It's not a thing. Now, the family that I put up $200,000 to find their daughter is like, hey, we're suing you for defamation of character. Defamation of character? Huh? So there you go. I don't know what the fuck that means. I know it's fucking creepy and weird. And, it's like, what do you think after that? A normal person is like, wait a minute. Was this all bullshit? Was this like entertainment? Was this like some kind of fucked up entertainment? Or, some kind of criminal operation? What the fuck was this? I have a theory on what all this was, with pretty valid points behind it. But I had to make this video so everyone understands what this is, so everyone understands the timeline, so everybody is just on the same page. Because, see, that's the thing. They purposely make it perplexed enough and complicated to where it sounds confusing. Well, that's how you would get away with, you know, a crime. If you want to hear my theory, let me know in the comments. That video will be next. And, it's a mind fuck, to say the least.